No background now. No background noise. You don't have any background noise.
Cool.
All right, so we are live. How's everybody doing today? I want to thank you all for tuning in. If you're watching this on the replay, this is the 11th episode of Brother Please Hear Me Out, and I got a very special guest today by the name of Lynell. We're going to talk about crypto, and we're going to answer your cryptocurrency questions that you have today. I have a few questions that brothers left me in the community tab, so we're going to go through those first. But if you have any in the live comment feed, be sure to leave that, and hopefully we'll be able to get to your questions, as soon as possible, in a relatively timely fashion. So before we go into it too much, I want to let Lionel introduce himself. Just Lionel, let him know who you are and what you do.
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? My name is Lynell again. I run a YouTube, actually two, but the main one for this show is on crypto with Lynell, Lynell, and on that show I go over the news, daily news that's happening in the cryptocurrency space.
Now, the first question, and I want to, this is just kind of my question that I want to get people started with, right? And I want to revisit a little bit of what we talked about last time you were on the show. Is cryptocurrency a fad? A lot of people think that cryptocurrency is a fad that's going to pass. I think you have people like, billionaires like Warren Buffett. And I forgot my man's name that who owns the Dallas Mavericks, but he feels similar to cryptocurrency. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah,
But
Mark Cuban.
yeah, Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban. For some reason, billionaires feel that this is a fad. Is it a fad? Is cryptocurrency something that's just going to go away and it's a waste of money to even invest in and participate in?
No, crypto is not a fad because it's affecting the way governments and policymakers are treating it. If it was a fad, then it wouldn't affect the way government, senators, and just representatives, period, uh, talk about it. You're hearing news articles where a lot of countries around the world are trying to come out with something called a central bank digital currency. You have Facebook Libra Facebook talking about their Libra project and how that is going to be a quote unquote cryptocurrency. It's not a true crypto, but it's a cryptocurrency. You have companies such as Microsoft. You have JP Morgan Chase developing their own crypto, the JPM coin. You have Microsoft partnering with blockchain slash cryptocurrency companies and implementing that technology in their public blockchains and their structure, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So for something to be called to be labeled and to be a legitimate fad, it has to be it has to come, have its height, then disappear. Well, with cryptocurrency, it's been here since, let's say, 2010. Nice round number. It came, yeah, it's had its height. Everyone remembers the 2017, but it had previous heights since then. But it has not left yet. It's still here.
Mm. Now, with that being said, because I think that that's key to get that in there, and there's one more that I want to get in there before I get to the question that the people had for you. Um, is it too late to invest in crypto?
No, no, it's not too late because that question is tantamount to: is it too late to invest in stocks? Is it too late to invest in real estate, gold, or oil, or other asset classes? It's never too late. Um, the whole point of investing is to invest. The whole point of investing is not to say, well, it's too late to invest. It's too late to invest in Coca-Cola or Apple or Tesla or AT&T. It's not too late. No.
Cool. Now, I want to get into the first question that one of the brothers had in the community tab for you, and I think this is probably the number one question that like that my entire audience would most likely have. It's how would Black people collectively benefit if we as a collective decided to get involved with cryptocurrency?
Okay. Well, I want to go back to the last thing you said, and then I'll segue that and back to this first question because I have something that came up. When people normally say, "Is it too late to invest?" That comes from a place where, okay, I see Bitcoin was 10 cents back when it first was valued, or $10 way back when 2011. Well, since I did not get in at that point, I missed the boat at that very point, then what's the point of investing in it at $8,000? Well, people who bought Bitcoin at $10, pretty sure they couldn't fathom Bitcoin shooting up to $20,000 or at $8,000 right now. So it seems like when people say, "Well, is it too late?" It's coming from a place where I didn't invest into it when it was $7, $8. It's too late to invest to it now. That's where it's come from in place because they wanted to time the market. And as we all know, when you're doing trading or technical analysis, people who know what they're talking about, they say, do not try to time the market, just get in the market. So hence that's why I say it's not too late to get in the market. Now to segue into what you just asked me, as black people as a collective, that's never gonna happen. You're
Mm,
gonna have a portion of a portion of any group is going to invest. Not all, not everybody's going to invest. So with black people as a collective, as a monolith, as one, that's not going to happen. But for those who will invest, then investing into this asset class, cryptocurrency, as well as other asset classes, will afford you a future where you can live comfortably, at least live comfortably or more. And not only that, but having that wealth would allow you to invest in the community in which you live. Because let's be honest, people tend to live around people who look like them. That's not bad or anything. That's just the nature of nature. Um, that allows you to invest in the community you're in, albeit owning a store, owning apartment, fixing the neighborhood up, investing into other people, younger generations, younger children for their upbringing and learning in schools that allows you to invest. A lot of times, this is the last thing I have to answer this particular question. When you go to charities and when you ask them what they want, yeah, it's fine that people volunteer their time. That's fine, but they what they really need is money, and with that money, they can do much more things and and have a more profound effect than people just investing their time. And not to say investing your time is bad, but they can do much more profound things if they had money.
got it. Now, the next question that I want to get to from my audience, and it kind of segues well into this, and it's how do we add value? Excuse me. How do we add value to something that's digitally created? Who has the ultimate control of that said mechanism?
Okay, so with just looking at, I'll say Bitcoin because people just know Bitcoin, and people tend to think Bitcoin is cryptocurrencies, but there are other cryptocurrencies. But just looking at Bitcoin as something that's digitally created, and that's what it is. Okay, it's digitally created. There's a hard cap of 21 million can ever could be in existence, and a Bitcoin is just Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is more than just something that's digitally created and traded back and forth. It could be programmed to say, hey, I want this person to be paid. Okay, case in point, I'm doing an interview with you. Let's say I shouldn't say that, but let's say you get big to like 1 million subscribers, right? And you built out TD Hip Hop where you have employees. And let's say you're trying to get something done and you're paying someone in Bitcoin just for TD Hip Hop Studios. Well, with that Bitcoin, you can program it to say, hey, I'm going to pay this person X amount of money to build out this studio, but I'm going to program it or escrow it, put in a smart contract to say, as time goes on and he completes things that need to be completed as far as the stages of building getting the studio built. Money will then be released. So you're putting all the money up front, so he knows that your contractor knows that okay, that TD has the money. So you're putting the money up front. You put it in a smart contract. So as time goes on, increments of that money will be released. That's that's being programmed. That's programmable. That's smart money. That's a smart contract. And on top of that, now when people tend to send money to other people, it's a fee. It allows you to send, not only is it the fee, but that fee, the reason for that fee is because it's going through different what's the word I'm looking for here? Different entities. Different entities are going to take their pie, piece of that transaction. But with crypto or Bitcoin, it's peer to peer. So I can send money directly to you without a middleman. And on top of that, since it's programmable, in the crypto world, transactions can mean not just money. Transactions can mean that transactions for the data, because the money is now data. Is data, and data just doesn't specifically have to mean money. It can mean information. It can mean a lot of things. So now you can build things on top of that network. Games. You can build you can build a number of things that can take advantage of that network to send information, transactions and information back and forth. So Bitcoin, and when I say again, like I said, Bitcoin, I'm using Bitcoin in this answer to this question as cryptocurrency. It's not just something that was programmed where it's just 21 million in existence and that's it. It's much more than that.
Got you. Now, the next question leading into that one, is it possible, in your opinion, for society to function solely on cryptocurrency?
At this point in stage, I would say no, because again, Bitcoin has a slow, they call it TPS, transactions per second. Visa, MasterCard discovered their transactions per second, or TPS, is between what, 20 and 70 TPS per second. So with Bitcoin, specifically Bitcoin, it has a very low transaction per second, TPS. But since it's programmable, that can be upgraded. Same way Visa and MasterCard can be upgraded also. With other cryptocurrencies other than Bitcoin, such as Ethereum, XRP, their TPS is higher. But as the network gets built out, upgraded, those transactions per second will be upgraded. Now, as far as how using it now, it's a learning curve. You need to People who's working on these networks needs to, and they know this. They need to build it out where it just works. Uh, we're not worried about, well, how does StreamYard works? We don't care. It just works. How does email works? We don't care. It just works. How does tapping your phone against the near field communication to pay for gas? We don't care. It just works. As long as it just works and everything's done in the background, then it makes that much easier for everyday people to just use it. Once the network gets built out to that point, then we can start talking about, okay, not using cryptocurrency and just forgetting about cash or government issued money, but now we're looking at a system that can be used in tandem or aside to dollars or euro or pound. It's another financial system, not a financial system that's going to take over the government financial system. Now it's just another type of financial system, because what's going to happen is there's other projects in the crypto space that are great. They're awesome. They're fantastic. At the same time, there are other crypto projects that are just scams, But those that are great and fantastic, what's going to happen is the companies that are here now, such as the Microsofts, the Apples, the Googles, Amazons, they're going to integrate. And once they integrate, that's why I say it's going to be this crypto thing is going to be used alongside. That's why I say that. It's not going to take over, it's just going to be used alongside.
Got you. So yeah, so for the most part, in the future, we'll just say, for lack of better words, money that's created by the government or by the Federal Reserve, essentially, that's never really going to go away, but it's just going to be work. It's going to be used side by side with crypto.
Right, it's going to change, and money will be thought about differently. It's going to be changed.
Now, another question that I have here, and I'm going to paraphrase this brother's question because it's a little long, but essentially, what he's asking you is, how do you protect your cryptocurrency in case of we'll just say a blackout, electronics aren't working, there's some sort of a solar flare. You get what I'm saying? But you've purchased, let's say, crypto through Coinbase or however you got your crypto. How is it protected in case of some sort of a, we'll just say, a blackout in the United States?
Okay, so obviously, crypto goes is rides on top of another technology called blockchain. And what blockchain is, those two words, blockchain, are very literal words. It's a ledger. Like in accounting, you have what's coming in, what's going out. It's a ledger, so you always know. Instead of you going back to the back and physically counting the inventory of, well, how many of this we got? Well, let's count. You don't have to do that. You can look at the ledger of, okay, we got X amount of boxes of this, we got X amount of boxes of this, X amount went out, X amount came in. So you don't have to go and look and count. Well, with blockchain, it's a ledger, but it's a automatically, continuously updated ledger. So with the Bitcoin blockchain, it obviously rides on top of with Bitcoin, it absolutely rides on top of blockchain. So who it doesn't matter who's sending money to who's getting money from who's spending Bitcoin, getting Bitcoin. All of that information, all of those transactions are automatically recorded onto Bitcoin's ledger. Now, each transaction is rolled into a block of information. Let's say a page of like a piece of paper, notebook paper. You write all the transactions on a piece of paper until it fills up, and then you just add it on top of other stack of pieces of paper. Well, then that's the same thing as a blockchain. Once that block gets filled up, a block is only, let's say a block is, it's not really, let's say it is, a block can only reach 10 megabytes of information, and then it just get added into the other blocks of information on a blockchain. I say all that to say, since it's a continuously updated ledger of who owns what, then when a blackout occurs and solar flare occurs, or some type of situation where the power goes out. Well, when the power comes back on, the blockchain will just pick back up to where it last left off. And as long as the blockchain says, well, Tony owns this amount of Bitcoin, the only thing you have to do is just download your wallet again or start it back up again, your Bitcoin wallet again, input your passwords and everything, and it's there. The ledger knows who owns what. It's just that simple. So it's not like, let's say you have the, and I understand what he's trying to say, because I hear these questions all the time. You got your Bitcoin on your computer and your computer just get thrown in the ocean. Whatever, you understand. It gets
Mhm.
destroyed. Well, as long as you have your seed phrase or a way to get, when you download another Bitcoin wallet and you input the information to recreate your wallet again, you just have access to the money again. It doesn't go anywhere. The money is not at the bottom of the ocean where your computer at. no, it's on the blockchain, and I understand it. That's hard to imagine. That's hard to get. That's why I said money is is thought of a different way, and I understand it. It's just the the blockchain has a recording of who owns what.
Right. So your information never really goes anywhere, even in
Right.
the midst of a blackout. It's always recorded on the blockchain.
Yeah, it's always there, and because it's distributed, millions of people have a copy of the ledger. So millions of people essentially knows that you own X amount of money. It's
Got it. So
always,
that,
yeah,
yeah, so there's no real way to lose it essentially,
right. If you
unless somebody steals it somehow, like
steals
by
it,
way of taking your wallet or something.
yeah, steals it, or you just lose your, let's say, lack of a better phrase right now, password.
Got
Uh,
you.
Now, what tends to happen is people are uncomfortable with that, and that's fine. So people are used to having banks, and we've been ingrained as humans. We've been ingrained with that for over 100 years. Go to a bank, have a savings account, save your money. So what's happening now is you're seeing banks such as Fidelity. Yes, that Fidelity, who's been in the crypto, whose Fidelity, but then this is coming from the CEO of Fidelity, Abigail Johnson. She says that Fidelity has been in crypto since 2014. Now, what they're doing is custodying pe- is going to give you an option to custody your assets. So you don't have to keep your Bitcoin at home in your computer. You can give it to them, they'll hold it for you, and it's like a bank again.
So they've actually created a system now to which so you can have that same feel. You can keep your cryptocurrency within Fidelity Bank, as opposed to having it, you having to worry about saving your password and being able to have access to it. You can
Right.
actually take it to a bank and they'll hold on to it for you, and you can have that same feel of okay, it's safe. It's with Fidelity. It's with U.S. Bank. I'm sure other banks are going to follow suit
Yeah, yeah,
eventually.
yeah, yeah. And I'm using Fidelity because everybody heard of Fidelity, but there's other banks that are doing it, like Silvergate Bank. There's other banks that are doing it, but they're developing custody solutions to help people who don't feel comfortable with holding these large sums of money. Hey, keep it with us. We're a bank. You know us.
And that definitely makes sense to see that and for that to come about because I'll share this real quickly. When I was first getting introduced to crypto and just kind of hopped in head first, buying random stuff, I didn't even know what I was doing. I'm just kind of buying stuff and signing up to I forget what
Exchanges.
it's, yeah, exchanges, signing up to exchanges, to buy cryptocurrency I don't know anything about. I forget the name of the cryptocurrency that I did purchase. It was really cheap, so I got a lot of it. It was like, maybe less than a penny, a token, But to your point, as it pertains to banks holding your crypto for you, I lost the password.
Yeah,
I lost the password. So, now I'm hoping that cryptocurrency doesn't turn into anything. You know what I mean? I hope that it dies out now so I don't have to know that I lost money. But you know what I mean? I lost the password
yeah,
and I don't have access to the account anymore. So that's just that, you know?
yeah. And not everybody wants to be dealing with two-factor authentication, uh, ledger nanos, and that's fine. That's why you have these people coming up with custody solutions so you can hold your funds with them, and that's perfectly fine.
Mhm. Now, I want to get into the next question that I have here. And I wish I would have asked this at the top of the show, but I'll ask it now. And this is a very basic question I'm sure you get all the time. And it's just simply how can someone who knows nothing about cryptocurrency get into it?
Oh
What's
yeah,
your advice?
I saw this. So again, that's tantamount to, well, I don't know nothing about investing. This investing meaning investing in stocks. How do I get into it? So the common answers are, well, start to read articles, that talk about cryptocurrencies, because a lot of times what happens is when you read these articles and they're example talk about the Lightning Network. Well, sometimes they'll say, well, such and such says the Lightning Network is slow, and then they'll say, well, the Lightning Network is this. And so you'll say, oh, okay, this is the Lightning Network, so why is it slow? And that's over time, you'll read a couple of articles a day or listen to people on YouTube. Now, again, it's a caveat right when I say listen to people on YouTube. Don't listen to people who's gassing you up on price predictions. Listen to people who actually go over the news, help people understand the news of what's going on, why this is occurring. But over a long period of time, things start to click. Like over a month or so, things start to click, and your mind starts to put things together. And it's the same thing in the stock world. You start listening to people who talk about stocks, and you start listening to CNBC, or you're reading articles, and it's like, oh, this is what they're talking about. I didn't understand it before, but this is what's going on. So, listening and reading, and over a long period of time, you start to get it. So there is no, I'll say there's no pill you could take that we could start automatically understanding what's going on. But as you incorporate it into your day, incorporate a few articles into your day, incorporate a few videos here and there into your day, then you'll start to get the hang, or start to learn what's going on in the industry, why this is good and why this is bad, what this coin good, this coin bad, and what to look out for if you want to invest in other cryptos.
What are some of the sites and the YouTube channels outside of your own, obviously, that you go to pull your information from, or that you were going to when you were first starting out?
Well, when I first started out, one YouTuber I looked at was back in 2017 was TMI, the modern investor, and he goes over uh, news articles throughout the day. Like he'll do like one video a day. If the market is really hot, he'll do like two videos a day. But he doesn't do price predictions, because that can really get people's hopes up. He doesn't do price predictions. He'll just say, what this is going on, this, that, and then he'll give us 2 cents. And uh, I looked at Ivan on tech. He'll go over somewhat more technical things is going on. He'll break out his little, I'll say, whiteboard, and he'll go over, well, what they're trying. He'll say, well, what they're trying to do is this. You see money over here, and he'll go over it. Who else did I listen to? Those are two that first jumped on in my mind. But I'll go to Coin Telegraph, read some articles. I'll go to CoinDesk, read some. CoinDesk is more of a enterprise type level view. So they'll talk about major players just in it. Cointelegraph, they have a lot of articles per day. You don't have to read all of them, but the few that pique your interest, and they have short articles. We're not talking about um what's that newspaper, Wall Street Journal length articles. We're talking about bite-sized articles you can read. You can read about 3 articles in 15 minutes.
And on that site, if I remember correct, those articles are really short. Like they're like literally like 3-minute articles. Yeah.
Yeah, really to the point. Really to the point articles.
Mhm.
Uh, Daily Hodl, um, Bitcoinist. Yeah, really reputable sites that people that on YouTube tend to reference. And then sometimes people, well, not really sometimes, a lot of times people on YouTube, they'll niche down, so they'll only talk about Bitcoin, they'll only talk about XRP, they'll only talk about Ethereum, because those are the projects that they like.
Is there a specific exchange after one does their due diligence and learns up on cryptocurrency for themselves, and start reading their articles and just get an understanding of crypto and all that stuff? is there a particular exchange that you would recommend that people should go to or try first? Because there's a lot of we've talked about this before on the last time you were on the show. When I first got into crypto, I don't recall what the name of the exchange is, and I personally just wouldn't recommend this to anybody. But it was an exchange that was overseas. I believe it was somewhere in Europe, and they wanted a lot of personal information. And I gave it to them. I gave them my personal information, and fortunately, nothing has happened. Like I guess they are reputable. You know what I mean? And I was able to join that exchange after a certain period of time. But what exchange would you recommend? And is that something that you would discourage also what I did?
Um, okay, so it's a two-part question. Well, two-part. Well, yeah, so there's going to be some coins a person may find that is not held on the major American crypto exchanges. So you'll have to go to the the exchange or exchanges that may hold that coin that a person may want. So you'll have to go through that. Me,
Got
right.
Go ahead.
So I normally stick to two exchanges, Binance US and Coinbase. The reasons I stick to those are A, it's easier because I link my bank account to them and I deposit my fiat on them and I'm done. I go in there, purchase what I need to purchase because I only stick to a few cryptos. Purchase I need to purchase and you know I purchased it. And for tax reasons, it's easy to just have a few exchanges rather than 20 you doing 20 exchanges. So when tax season comes, you gotta worry about all these 20 exchanges. So I stick to Binance and Binance US because when tax roll around, I know I just did purchases or business on those two exchanges. It's pretty easy. Now I may go to another exchange and because they may hold a crypto that I want that I'm trying to get into, but I'm not wild with it. So I normally go to Binance US and Coinbase because it's just easier for tax purposes, and it's easier because I don't have to worry about opening up accounts with different exchanges.
And then as it pertains to what I did when I first jumped in the game, which was go with an overseas exchange and give them a whole bunch of personal information. It's kind of a rhetorical question, but I'd rather you give that answer.
hmm
If that's something that you would discourage, just kind of stay away from that.
Yeah, because sometimes if you don't know well, I won't say a lot of times. Sometimes you don't know. Obviously, you don't know what they're doing with your information, um, and you just don't know. And they could be a low liquidity exchange. You giving them information, you don't know who's running it. It's it Yeah, just stick to the major cryptocurrency exchanges because you know that they have a lot more on the line to lose if something happens. Instead of these
Got you.
low liquidity hole in the wall exchanges.
Mhm. Got you. So, and one of the reasons, and I got a brother in the chat who has a question, but um, I'll add on to this. One of the reasons that I did sign on to that exchange where I gave up a bunch of personal information to this overseas exchange was because at the time, XRP was not available on Coinbase, and there was no way to use fiat currency to purchase XRP, or at least not that I was able to find, and that's when I was reading. But for whatever the reason being, however it worked out with that exchange, you were able to use fiat currency. So that was what made me sign up for it. But I say all that to say this, hindsight is 2020, and I realized how ridiculously
Yeah.
stupid that was. It's not worth it, even if you're trying to purchase some, a coin that maybe you can't get on Coinbase or you can't get it with fiat currency on Binance or whatever. So let me sign up with this exchange overseas. Just hold off and wait for it to come to the major sites. You know, no, don't you don't want to risk and play that game.
Yeah.
Now, the next question that I'm going to get into that a brother in the chat has is he asks, how should the basis on understanding crypto be? Understanding the technology behind it?
Well, some people do that. Let's again say Bitcoin. Bitcoin compared to other cryptos is not tech heavy at this point. Sure, you've heard of other cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum. That's really they're trying to be a lot more than what Bitcoin is. So when Bitcoin hit the scene, obviously it was new to everybody. It was okay. Well, what is blockchain? What is Bitcoin? What is it trying to do? But as time went on, again, over a long period of time, you start to understand things start to get second nature to you. We understand, well, Bitcoin is trying to do this, allow you to send money directly to people without middlemen, and it rides on a technology called blockchain, and blockchain is this. From that basis, that's pretty simple. Now, other people come into space. Obviously, this it's not even a may. They will when Bitcoins get on their horse and start to ride real fast on a bull run, right with the bulls, people are going to get in the base and like, oh yeah, I'm in it for the tech, which they're just in it for the money. So you can look at it for both ways. If you like a crypto and it's doing something that it's like, wow, this is awesome. I like this. Case in point for me, XRP. When I came in the game, I heard of Bitcoin. I was like, wow, what's this? And I learned about it. What people told me about it. Then I found about the XRP and what it was doing. I'm like, yo, that's for me because I've sent money to Nigeria, and I mean, good, and they hit you over the head with them fees, and I'm like, okay, XRP is trying to do this. That's for me. That's for me, and I learned about it. But with Bitcoin, Bitcoin was going up $1,000 a day. I'm like, I'm investing in Bitcoin. I learned about, it's so you can take it both ways. People are going to get into it because it's money, ching ching, and other people will find a project that they like, and they're like, wow, I like this. I can really get behind this.
For sure. Now, for the last two questions, these are very kind of specific. I'll just get into it. This one person, he just makes a statement. He says, "What are your thoughts?" Or question: What are your thoughts on Celsius Network?
Celsius. So Celsius is a DeFi, decentralized finance. What they Decentralized finance is really starting to make a lot of grounds. Um, I remember I had a I had a subscriber. I was talking about something. I think I was talking about crypto.com, which is another decentralized finance. And after the show, he left me a message on the channel like, "You talking about such and such, but you ain't talk about Celsius." I'm like, Celsius suck. I didn't know nothing about Celsius, because it wasn't in my purview of cryptos. Again, it's like 5,000 cryptos out there, so a lot of cryptos will get lost. And I started to hear about Celsius. I started oh, there's another YouTuber I gotta tell you about. He really the crypt Coin Bureau on YouTube. Coin Bureau. He really does a analysis of projects. And I looked at one of his videos, and he was saying, he was talking about coins, Celsius network, what's it's doing, what it's trying to do. I started reading a little few more articles, and Celsius Network allows you to earn, borrow, and pay people using their services. They have a downloadable app. You can earn. So I saw a video from the CEO, and you can earn like 8%, 10%. Again, that may not be sustainable in the future, so those interest rates may come down. And they were asking him, well, how can Celsius Network afford to pay people 8% of their money or 10% of their money a year? Mind you, to give you a lot of people a barometer of how high that is, Your savings accounts only give you 0.01% of interest. Checking accounts are even worse. High high interest savings accounts in America are like 1.75. That's like high. CDs maybe 3.3%. Um, Annual inflation rate is 2%. So here you got Celsius Network giving people 8 to 10% of their money. And he was saying, well, in the banking industry, what they tend to do is obviously use your money to loan out money. Well, the interest rates on those loans are obviously 8, 10, 15%. The bank gives you 0.1%, a fraction of 1%, and they keep the rest. He was saying what they do is they give back more of the interest when they take your crypto. Well, when you give them, they don't take you give them your crypto to loan out to other people to borrow. Hence, Celsius Network, you can earn, borrow, and pay people. When people borrow crypto and they charge them X high percentage rates, they give more of that back to you as a person for loaning out your crypto. That's how they can give you higher interest rate. Again, like I said, they may not be sustainable in the future. They may come down to what 5% or 3%, whoever knows. But I don't think it's going to go up. For it being decentralized finance, obviously this is finance. This is in the realm of the finance world. The decentralized part comes in where you still have access to your funds. So with Celsius, it's an app you could download on your iPhone, I think Android also, and you don't have to go to a website and give them your funds. You still have access to them. You may have to lock it up. You have to lock it up for like a X amount of days, so you know they can actually make money on you borrowing your funds, but you don't have to give it to nobody or give it to a website. So that's the decentralized finance part. They're like the middleman of the game they're like the middleman of their network.
Now, for the brother in the chat, Rich the Ruler, I'm going to get to your question next, right after this one, because since we're talking about the Celsius network and all that, this next question goes into that. And this question is personally, I think DeFi creates a new double spend problem in the space. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so for what people who don't know what double spend, I'll just read it verbatim. Double spend is a potential flaw in a digital cash scheme in which the same single digital token can be spent more than once. Unlike physical cash, a digital token consists of a digital file that can be duplicated or falsified. So with DeFi, you have had instances such as one recently, I forgot this place, DBZ something. They didn't get hacked. It was a flaw that a someone took advantage of. It was a creative. They did something creative where and they borrowed some money from this decentralized finance place, and I think the person must have had must have been in the finance world for some years because when the dust settled, they were people who knew what they were talking about. They just said, "Hey, this guy knew what he was doing." So he discovered a flaw in their whole setup. So he was able to eh, take money out, but there was not a double spend. What he's talking about is double spend is basically I have a dollar, I give it to you, I can actually give that dollar to you or somebody else. That's double spending $1. I have not heard of anything of the double spend in DeFi. Double spend attacks have pretty much been that's the whole purpose of blockchain is to prevent a double spend attack. Um, because you know who owns what and who sent what to who. That's the whole purpose of blockchain, is to prevent a double spend attack, because there were previous iterations of cryptocurrency such as Hashcash and DigiCash that could not solve that double spend attack. But when blockchain slash crypto Bitcoin came out, it solved that double spend attack. So I don't think double spend attacks are prevalent or possible in DeFi. Now, there can be loopholes to, like the guy that took advantage of a loophole of borrowing and something and doing some elaborate, intricate finance. Yes, that can happen. But to also say with, I want to also contrast that with what's going on in the traditional finance world. You do have double spending going on rampant in the traditional finance world also, such as some concept called rehypothecation. Obviously, people know about fractional reserve. So I don't think double spend attacks happen too much in the cryptocurrency world because of that blockchain technology.
Now, I want to ask this question for Rich the Ruler, and we kind of, I believe we did actually touch on this earlier, just in the very beginning of the show. Just I asked it in a different way, so but I'll ask it again for him. Do you think mass adoption in this space will come sooner than later?
That's actually a good question. Um, there's no one thing that will trigger mass adoption. People think a game or app, hence the killer app that will trigger mass adoption, or a popular game that will trigger mass adoption. I think time will trigger mass adoption as time goes on. Look at it. What, 3 years ago, we didn't have this much being talked about on cryptocurrency. Now we're talking about cryptocurrency. As time goes on, and as remember when I said at the beginning, you have companies that will integrate a lot of these cryptocurrency platforms. As they start to integrate more and more, as the news starts, the CNBCs, the CNBCs, MSNBCs talk about cryptocurrency more. Oh, Fidelity has opened up their custody solution for retail investors, and people are like, oh, what's that? As I know a girl. I asked her, and this is part of the adoption. She, I asked her, hey, do you invest? She's a young girl, 24 years old, so she's like either a young millennial or old zennial. She lives in the hood, you know, boyfriend in jail type, trying to paint you a picture. And I asked her, do she invest? She said no. I said, have you ever heard of Robinhood? When I say Robinhood, we know Robinhood, the app that allows you to invest. That's the first thing that comes to our mind. First thing that came to her mind was Robinhood, like the cartoon Robinhood. But she
Mhm.
but she bought Bitcoin on Cash App. And she asked me, is this a good thing? Even her, even she did it. So what I'm trying to say is mass adoption will come over time, and as the news media outlets we look at talk about cryptocurrency more, as we other media outlets talk about cryptocurrency more, people are going to get curious. Well, what's this? Oh, it's this. Really? Um, people making money? Yeah. It's easy to buy? Yeah. Um, you can purchase Bitcoin on Robinhood. You can purchase Bitcoin on Cash App. As and Other investment vehicles such as the Fidelity, such as E-Trade, TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab's, MI, M1 Finance, Webull, purchase it. You'll be able to purchase cryptocurrency on them soon. So mass adoption will occur over time, and as increments and increments and increments and increments of availability to these systems occur, I think time will spur that mass adoption.
Now, the last question that I have from you, and it comes from the same brother, um, and I'll just read it off straight. Also, your thoughts on BTC dubbed to being uncorrelated to traditional market, but seemingly reacting in step with traditional markets over the last few days. Did you get that
Yeah,
question that he asked?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Um, for that question, I always ask people in the technical analysis area, and the questions or the answers I got back from them was, yeah, it's correlated. It's correlated to. Okay, I'll answer it like this: if the traditional markets are going down, why would people put money in something that's highly speculative, such as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? If they're trying to save their portfolio from tanking in the stock market, which has been going down a couple hundred points for this past week, they're not going to say, "Well, Tesla was $1,000; it's $700 now." I don't know what the price of Tesla is right now, but I'm pretty sure it's around that price. They're not, well, let me take my money out of Tesla and put it into Bitcoin. They're not going to do that because Bitcoin is highly speculative. They're going to just put their Bitcoin, well, they're going to take their money out of Tesla and put it into something like T-bill or some safe, or just keep it in cash. They're not going to then turn around and put it in something in highly speculative. So yes, I do think the markets is correlated because the stock market, people throwing, I don't know, you, you know the C word, the C iris, that I don't want to, YouTube starting to go around.
I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. So, so
YouTube funny out here.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
wrong thing, his
So
whole life feed is shut down.
right. So the market is reacting because that thing is affecting the supply chain of companies. And all of a sudden, cryptocurrency went tank. I won't say tank as in like it just went to zero, but it took a dip also. So you got to say, I see that, and I look at other people that are technical analysis, and they know what they're talking about on the TA side, on the technical analysis side. And you got to say, yeah, it is correlated. You have to. You cannot say it's not correlated. So yeah, I say it is correlated.
So now, with all that being said, like I said, that was the last question. If you have more questions for Lynell, Lynell, let them know where they can find you at.
Yeah. Actually, I'll just do my both channels.
Mhm.
For cryptocurrency, I go over the latest news and happenings that's going on in the cryptocurrency space. I do the early morning crypto show at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday. I'll go over mainly five articles, five of the main articles that's happening in the cryptocurrency space. We read the tea leaves, see what's going on, see what we can, I won't say predict, but see, we can, everybody get a generalized idea of what's going on in the cryptocurrency space. I do static videos talking about XRP, Cardano. I like those too, and I talk about those. I also do investing, regular investing on crypto, no, on investing with Lynell. My name is spelled Lynell. So it's on crypto with Lynell, on investing with Lynell. On investing, a lot of people are hesitant about investing. They see it as confusing, and that's understandable. You have to work your way into it. You have to learn about the thing, the legal, the lingua franca of the industry. So what I did was I said, okay, for the first year, I'm going to invest $100 a month into Robinhood. You all can see why what stock I purchased, why I purchased those stocks, to help demystify the investing into stocks. And then the second year, I'll bump that up to $200. And the third year, I'll bump that up to $400 until I reach. I'm gonna say $2,000 a month, but we'll see. And that'll be like around year 5. So this first year, so far, $200. I started in January. So and next week I'll be doing another $100. So to help people, okay, this guy's doing it. He started from zero. I'll get into it. I'll do $100 a month to help people keep up with it.
For sure. And also, I want to make sure to put out there that when you do your show, well, I know when you do the crypto show, the early morning crypto show, you do that live Monday through Friday, correct?
Correct.
All right, and I asked that because you all want to make sure that you get in touch with Lynell on early morning crypto show, because like I said, he is live, and whatever questions that you have for him, you can feel free to ask him during his live show. And he's really good at getting to those questions. He doesn't let the comment section just kind of scroll by or just not pay attention to what you guys are talking about in the chat, depending on how many people are in there. So make sure you get your questions off when he's live during the early morning crypto show. And it's extremely important that our people make sure we're getting this information, because we tend to be the last ones to this type of information. And I'll ask you this one last final thing in closing. I've heard that YouTube has been cracking down on cryptocurrency channels. Have you heard that, Lionel? Is there any validity to that?
Yeah, around Christmas last year, like a bunch of I didn't get hit, but it was a bunch of YouTubers got hit. Crypto YouTubers got hit. I don't know why. A lot of speculation, but they got their channels. They channels didn't get shut down. They ability to upload got shut. They got stopped. So, but that was changed.
So, oh, got you. So the stuff, they just couldn't put up any more information, any more videos.
Right, right.
That's interesting. You see, so that's why this is so important for us to make sure that we're getting in on this now. I don't want to turn this into too much of a conspiratorial political thing, because that's not what this particular show is about. But just the long and short of it, as time goes on, and I think Lionel can will co-sign this as well. The way in which we get information so easily now, I believe moving forward into the future, it's not going to be as simple as it is right now. It's just simply hopping online and listening to people talk on YouTube. I feel that moving forward, the writing is kind of on the wall, at least to me, that things aren't going to be, the information won't be flowing as quickly and as easily and freely as it is right now. So we got to make sure that we're taking advantage of this stuff now while we still can.
Yeah, and a lot of times I do agree with that, and also I think people shoot themselves in the foot by not taking advantage of that free information. What free information there is out there, you know.
Correct. So with all that being said, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification next to the subscribe button, so you can be notified whenever I drop a new video. Follow me on Twitter at tdhiphop media. And what are your social media handles, Lionel? Are you on Twitter and or Instagram, or how can they find you on social media?
I have a Twitter that coincides with the crypto. It's on crypto with Lynell.
On Crypto with Lionel. And with all that, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Lionel for joining me today, and we're out of here.